Hey, Corey Evans here, Winfield United Technical Seed Manager. Today is June 12th and I'm in a field in central Minnesota. Today you're only going to get half of Easy Insights because the Z portion and I are traveling separately. So I really want to focus our fifth Easy Insight update around the most important question that I got asked last week, and that was, where's my nitrogen? So today we're going to talk about nitrogen, and we're really going to focus on the nitrate form of N. When we talk nitrogen, we're really talking two aspects. We're talking nitrate and ammonium. Ammonium we're not so worried about because it really sticks to the soil and we don't have to worry about denitrification or leaching, which are the two main culprits of loss for nitrate. Now, when I think about how we utilize nutrients, it starts with the roots. So what I did is we got about V7 corn, and V7 corn is going to pick up 2 to 5 pounds of nitrogen per day up until V10. And as we go through this grand growth phase of corn, from V10 to V14, we're going to see collars advance every 2 to 3 days, and that corn is going to peak at about 7 pounds of nitrogen uptake per day. Now, to really key in on how to be effective in nitrogen management, it's about getting the right amount of N in the soil where the corn plant can actually access it and use it. So when you think about roots, think about this. In the top first foot, 40% of our nutrient water uptake is going to come from that first foot. When you move to the second foot, we're going to talk about 30% of total uptake. Third foot is 20%, and the last fourth foot is going to be about 10%. The name of the game is keeping nitrogen in the soil profile where the roots can reach it. Now, we had a lot of rain last week, really late in the week. And think about what 1 inch of rain does. Research tells us on 1 inch of rain in an average silty clay loam soil, we could potentially move nitrates 12 inches. Now, it doesn't mean we're moving them 12 inches down, but they can go sideways into the middle of the row, or they can move down. So that's really our main worry right now is, can our roots access the nitrogen? And it really depends on where it's at. To find out, a couple things you could do is A, take a soil sample, a pre-side dress nitrate sample, and the top 12 inches, that's going to tell you how much is readily available for that corn plant uptake. Now, the portion it doesn't take into effects is what is going to mineralize in the next couple months. When we get to tassel, we're only at about 63% use of our nitrogen, and we still have a last third of our nitrogen uptake to occur. 40% of that last third is going to come from remobilization of the nitrogen in the corn plant, and the rest of that 60% of the last third is going to be consumed by actual uptake from the soil. So we really want to keep nitrogen in the soil profile where the roots can as long as possible, because we still have a little ways to get to tassel and post-anthesis nitrogen uptake. So 1, take a soil sample. 2, take a tissue sample, see what the corn plant is actually telling you. And 3, the other way would be use ag technology like crop model that could potentially give you insight on what that corn plant is feeling. And then the other thing I would say is look at field monitoring tool by Winfield United. That's going to take daily images of your field, and that's going to allow you to really benchmark if fields are trending down or trending up or trending average compared to normal. And that's going to really help you triage fields and understand what's happening in them when you can get a really good benchmark of the other fields. Now, the other thing when we think about where's my nitrogen, I think the question we have to ask ourselves is, where's our sulfur? So sulfate sulfur is just as mobile as nitrate nitrogen. And as I walk this field, I can start to see some early symptoms of sulfur deficiency. Now, sulfur deficiency is going to look like interveinal chlorosis, where you can see where the yellowing is a little bit there. So when we take the opportunity to manage nitrogen in season, let's be looking at sulfur in season as well. Sulfate sulfur is just as mobile in the soil as nitrate. So when you're making a decision to side dress or top dress nitrogen, take a tissue sample to see where your nitrogen to sulfur ratios are. If you're at about 15 to 1, that's optimum. 15 parts nitrogen to 1 part sulfur. If you're anything different than that, talk to your local agronomist to help follow through of, should I add some sulfur or should I change my nitrogen rate depending on what the sulfur is telling you. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.